Hello, my name is Gordon Corsetti with the Georgia Lacrosse Officials Association. In this video, you will be learning how to properly fill out a game report in the event that you need to use one. So, let's begin. Come to georgialaxref.com and you'll be sent to our home page. Come down to GLOA Members and click on Game Report. And you'll be transferred over to the Game Report side. This is very important to know. This form has to be completed within 12 hours of the contest, and it's required for any game assigned by the GLOA. That's a GHSA game, that's an NGLL game, that's a MELA game, that is anything that you get through the arbiter where you're putting a GLOA patch on your uniform for that game. Now, before we get into the actual report itself, let's go over the reasons where you would need to fill out a game report after a game. So scroll on down to the bottom, and you will have the GHSA requirements for a game report. And there are 6 of them. First is anytime you have any ejections. Second is for any protest situations. Third would be any pre- or post-game issues involving anyone involved with the game. 4 would be any problems related to the field. 5 would be failure of host management to provide adequate security in the event that the officials need them. And 6, any major injuries require extraordinary attention. Here's the key thing. If you think you need to file a game report, go ahead and file a game report. Better to err on the side of safety than to not file one at all. Now, since we've gone over this, let's go over the form itself. So we're going to go ahead and put together a fictional situation. And we're going to go through each part of the game report, and then we're going to submit it to the GLOA. So we're going to have our game date. We're going to make that today, March 7th, 2011. We're going to say the game time was at 4:30 p.m. And we're going to say this was a JV game. So I'm going to go ahead and put my name on there and my email address. Important to note, the referee is the one filling out this form. So that's the reason we ask for the referee email. We also want to know who the umpire is. We'll go ahead and make this fun. Field judge if you're running a 3-man crew. I'm going to say home team is going to be white, and the visiting team is going to be red. Location is at white home field. Moving on, we're going to talk about the type of report that this game report is focusing on. And there's a couple different options here. You have disqualification and ejection, forfeited game, serious injury, field conditions, and other. If you have other, we'll specify that later. Now you can check as many of these as you need, but for today we're just going to go ahead and check a fight that occurred that we're going to be ejecting a few players for. So we'll click that, and then we're going to move into the meat and potatoes of the game report table. And this is where you're putting in all of the minute detail that you need regarding player names and player numbers. So let's go ahead and put in our player's name. He's number 12. He's playing for the visiting team. And he gets 3 minutes of penalty time. And the reason now, this small box here is for the reason that this player fouls out. We're going to say it's a fighting ejection. So now we're going to come over. Again, keep it interesting. We have Optimus Prime, number 2, on the home team. And he gets 3 minutes as well for fighting with John Doe. We'll say fighting ejection. You can add as many players as you need here. Once you have all the players involved and the reasons they got ejected and the amount of minutes, come down and tell when the incident occurred. We're going to say this occurred in the 3rd quarter. Now, everything that we've done has led up to this final point, and that is giving a factual narrative of the violations without any editorial comments. I'm going to harp on this briefly. Do as best as you can when filling out this section of the game report to leave your emotions at the door. The board members with the GLOA only want the specific factual things that happened during any altercation or during any issues that you had on the field. So we're going to go ahead and give you a brief example of what a factual narrative will look like for our fictional fight. So we're going to start off. John Doe started the fight after a whistle signifying the end of a play on. John Doe punched Optimus Prime, and the two players began trading punches. No other players entered into the fight. And once the two players involved stopped, the referee stepped between them and sent both players to the bench. After conferring with the other official, both players were ejected from the game for fighting. And lastly, I will put in only a fort tutorial. So that is just a brief factual narrative of exactly what happened. So we don't want to go ahead and say John Doe punched Optimus Prime with a sweet right hook to the temple. Keep it simple, keep it short and sweet, but make sure that you include all the facts that actually happened in it. And that is going to give the gentlemen who are reviewing this, both for the GLOA and the GHSA, the best information possible to hand out any type of suspensions or punishments. Now, once you've taken care of everything here, go ahead and just review the form overall. You're going to go ahead and check, make sure you have the date and time and level correct, that you have your email correct, that you have the team names correct. The type of report is the type of report that you want to be submitting. Your player names and numbers are correct. That's probably the biggest thing on this particular table. We want the names and numbers of the players. And finally, the proper factual account of the narrative. So, once you're all set, type in the letters or numbers into the box. Come to send. Once you're ready, click send. And if you see your message was sent successfully, you've done what you've needed to do. And if there are any questions, I'm sure you will get an email at some point from the guys higher up reading the form. So that concludes the tutorial on how to properly fill out a game report. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and remember, go to the contact page and ask questions if you need them, or ask them at the next bowl session. Once again, my name is Gordon Corsetti with the Georgia Lacrosse Officials Association. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for future videos.